Hello, everyone, and welcome to Office Hours. It's a rainy spring day here in Boston, hopefully reasonably nice where everyone else is. Um, and here we are. I see a new face. Linda, welcome. Whatever brings you here. Osquery questions. Welcome aboard. And yeah, announcements kind of feeds into an agenda item, but we cut a 5.2.3 release.
Thank you so much for assisting us with that release. It was extremely helpful to get it out for us. And
Yep.
yeah, thank you.
Worth noting is that we actually cut two of them because we decided we made a mistake the first time. And I did push builds out to the Linux distros, so it was a little bit of an oops, sorry.
That was fine. Yeah, it was on me. The first tag was missing a
Well,
commit.
you know, I shouldn't have checked the push to GitHub, push to S3 bucket, but I did. So out the door it went. So presumably it's been tested more widely, but people should probably test 5.2.3. And I imagine we'll cut a 5.3 out pretty soon too. So I feel like
I'm planning to push 5.2.3 out to our Edge channel today, which
exciting.
Does not get many hosts, but it will cause it to run in our automated testing environment. So
Thank you. Yeah, I'll push it out to Collides probably later on this week as well. And it's a pretty boring looking release, so updates the dependencies, doesn't look real scary. So
yeah.
Thank you, Zach. That's the only announcement I know. Oh, wait. I think we finalized some other things. We could announce it. Did we do this last week? Charvel is now a member of the TSC. Welcome. And I'm now the chairman. So there we go. Welcome to Osquery. Okay. Anyone have any other announcements? Okay. Next section of our meeting is sort of an open section where people can bring up anything they want, any PRs they're feeling stuck on, anything they're blocked on. Releases goes down in the agenda section, whoever's rearranging my minutes.
That was me, but I thought you just mentioned it, so I'm
No, leave it down there.
All right.
Thank you. What was I just saying? Yeah, so if anyone's got any questions, Linda, this may be as much here for you. You're the only new face, so if you got any questions for us or about Osquery, now's a time.
No, I'm just here to listen and learn and absorb.
Okay, well, welcome aboard.
Cool. What organization are you joining us from today, Linda?
I currently work at American Express, but I have various interests in security APIs like Osquery.
Cool.
Okay. So that I guess now releases. I wanted this down here because I wasn't sure if we actually wanted to talk about anything more. So when we built 5.2.3, I accidentally pushed it out to the stable Linux channels. This mostly indicates that we should really finish that tooling that we haven't ever written. Not much to say. No big deal, probably. I don't think there's a CDN in front of that right now, so probably it had a pretty small impact once it got fixed. And then I think we're planning on cutting a 5.3.0 pretty soon. I don't feel urgency since we are getting the 5.2.3 out, but if anyone wants to advocate that we do it sooner or later, I'm all ears.
So there is, let's say, small correction to be done on the Linux build. I noticed that one of the library that we have updated in 5.2.3 zlib, it's not so we are not using the one we build, but we link to the system one, which is incorrect. Now, yeah, if the system, I would expect the system to be up to date at least and have the lib updated, but yeah, it's incorrect, and there's a PR open to fix this issue. This was a third-party library bringing in or forcing the system link. Yeah.
I vaguely did I review that already? Did we merge it?
No,
We did.
It's
The zlib one from Alessandro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we merged it.
Yeah, today.
No,
I think.
that was just the update of the library.
Oh, okay.
There's a new one, 7557.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay, we can get that reviewed and merged. There's I don't know, there's probably some other PRs. I think that's basically all of our agenda. So
Can we get
Might
the
be a-
Wi-Fi networks in? I think I just need to update a log message. That's about it.
I think you
Yeah.
might still have it flagged as draft.
I
I
don't.
would love to get that one in. No, you have that flagged as real. I left comments on that. None were major.
Cool. I'll look at them. And I think there's
Yeah.
only a log message that needs to be updated and a little bit of file parsing simplification.
Yeah, I think I just did like, I don't know, can these if statements be a little bit cleaner is probably most of what my comments boiled down to. I'm happy to talk about it here or over Slack or whatever. I'd love to get that one into 5.3. That would be really nice.
I also made another pull request to update the PKG. It
think-
should make the library a little bit sturdier
Okay.
against possible crashes, but there is also a really small change in it that lets you change the admin dir directory. So
I saw that. That looked nice.
Yeah, so if you happen to have something else somewhere else, you can it should work.
I think I've got that half reviewed for you. I'll try and finish it. If we want to just run down these, there's a couple of others that seemed interesting. Let's see, where did we leave? ICO 1 has got a couple of open PRs around removing deprecated things. I think they're probably all fine. I don't know if someone wants to just kind of take a quick pass at those.
I think it's mostly that I will tell them they have to update at least the smart tool table, etc. Is failing CI, so there is still something to be done there, and I think that's the only deprecation. I know you they were looking also into LLDP, although I haven't.
I don't think I've seen that one come up.
Yeah, not as a PR. So there's an issue. We want to deprecate the table and the library. They were suggesting to use either to use the command line, but that's basically a have no, or dbus. And I left a comment asking exactly what he intended. I know that with dbus, I think I know that through dbus you can contact a system D network D, which can work basically as also as a daemon for LLDP packages. So it's like another process that handles LLDP packages. But the problem is that given that its primary use is to configure network, or it's not guaranteed that users are using system D, network D to handle the network. So yeah, I'm not sure basically if it's something you will find on user platforms being used. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But go on. I mean, I'm just sort of glancing at all the things that I know have come up recently. Yeah, I don't. There's a CPU info table from ICO 1.
Yeah, I think that one. Cool.
And then I know Joseph Sweeney had a bunch of PRs up, which I feel like we haven't really reviewed. He's Trail of Bits, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I think the CPU info table, I think, is being surpassed by the one done by ICO. So
okay, so we want to close Joseph's in favor of Ecos, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, because the SMBIOS method works also. I mean, it's more generic and should work also under Arch. And yeah.
Is there anything folks want to try and get reviewed and get in, other than just everything we can? Stefano, you've got like that big Windows users one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was going to mention, but depends on when people have time reviewing it. I mean, definitely if we can get it in,
I did take some look at it, but I usually try and like run it locally, the PRs that I reviewed, but I think it's kind of impossible for me to do for that one. And the caveat is that I'm not familiar with Windows APIs and Win32 conventions at all, but the approach does look good. So with that caveat, I can take another quick look and approve it.
And yeah, if you need anything, I mean, I can also add some more information about like how the code is structured, etc. Effectively, I put some description there, but yeah, I haven't created a guide to the code. So yeah. If that's useful, I can do that too.
I think it would be useful, but I'm sure, like, people who do know the Windows APIs, it would totally instantly make sense. But yeah.
Do we want to get there's that Farfalle person? Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
Are they active at all? I don't know who they work for. They just sometimes would show up and review Windows code.
I mean, I think it has been like several months, or yeah, that I haven't seen them. So
okay, no, sounds kind of like the usual. Let's try and review PRs and get them merged. So a bunch of these seem pretty straightforward and valuable. I don't know. Anything anyone wants to talk about? If not, maybe we all get like 30 minutes back.
I did wanted to ask a question if anyone has seen a problem with extensions, or when they deploy or write extensions. How do we handle shutdown? Like, I think it's up to the extension to wait for shutdown, and when the wait for shutdown is received, you actually shut down. Does anyone know? I haven't, and I'm particularly asking about the Python SDK rather than C++.
yeah, there's I'm thinking how it gets communicated. I recall that there is a wait for shutdown call you do
And it's
in the
usually
extensions,
passed
yeah.
over the thrift message, right? And not like a signal or.
That's the that's the thing, which it should,
Yeah.
but I have to check. Yeah, again.
Yeah, I'm
I-
actually looking at it right now, and Osquery does seem to send a shutdown request to the extension. At least when you manually close Osquery, I'm not sure that it sends the request as appropriate if the watchdog kills it.
no, I don't think so. But there should be, or maybe I'm confusing it just with the worker itself. So the worker has a check to check if the watchdog is running, but no, the extension doesn't.
Does this also change based on whether Osquery started the extension or whether the extension started outside of Osquery?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, well, I don't recall. I think how it should work is that it shouldn't be closed if it's not handled by the Osquery watchdog, because then you're assuming you're kind of assuming you know what life cycle you want out of that extension. So instead, executing it on the side and not have the watchdog handle the extension, you can have your extension keep running even if Osquery closes.
I suspect there's a lot of poorly thought out edge cases, because I could also imagine that it makes sense for Osquery to send a message on the socket saying like, I'm shutting down, goodbye, right? So that if your extension is managed externally, it could decide what to do, but then it's very hard to write an extension that knows whether it's been started by Osquery or not, because the environment, like, you just kind of have to guess. So like, I feel like there's a lot of weird.
Yeah. And in case of autoloaded extensions, it would be the watcher would try to respawn it if the watchdog kills it, right?
Depends. If you can, I think you can still autoload, but you have the flag to disable the watchdog on extensions. But it's not something I really tested, so yeah.
I guess I think there are like at least two axes. One of them is whether the extension is run by managed by Osquery or started externally. And then the other one is whether this is a sort of normal shutdown or a watchdog initiated shutdown. And I feel like each quadrant there might have a different answer.
So by default, yeah, the extension watchdog is not enabled. And I don't seem to recall you have to enable it to use outload. So they get started, but they are not handled then by the watchdog. But yeah, they are not watched if that flag is not enabled. So yeah, I think autoload and enabling or disabling the watchdog on the extension is separate.
And the extension talks to the worker process, right?
They do, yeah.
Yeah. So if the watchdog kills the worker, then the extension should need to either restart or at least reconnect to the domain socket.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes back to the how does an extension know that unless it's kind of, pinging a health check or something.
Well,
yeah, and I'm looking at the
there is a
OSquery Go code, and in there is a ping on
Yeah.
interval, and the extension shuts down if the ping fails. It seems to do that every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and then I guess what shutdown means and how that gets handled should be very extension dependent, right? Like, what do you do when that ping comes back as unhealthy?
Yeah, I seem to recall though that there was some confusion between, like, you have true, you still have like two kind of extension watcher, because you have the watchdog itself, but also the extension manager itself. I seem to recall there was an issue coming up with this fact, because at a certain point they were both trying to like stop an extension if you were shutting down Osquery. And I recall I did a fix around the wait time for shutdown, because it was waiting too much.
Yeah, I remember that.
Around the
Was that
apply
the alarm
extension delay.
timeout? Yeah, okay.
That spawned from that work, but the function I recall is it's apply extension delay. It's something in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that PR. Charvel, problem where you just sort of digging around trying to understand because it's a little confusing.
Mostly just trying to understand it better. Kind of noticed this on like a Python extension, and I know like Osquery Python hasn't seen any release or update in at least years. So I'm wondering if the thrift generated files needed to be updated, or just trying to gather more information and figure out how to debug.
I mean, I don't think we've changed the thrift definitions in my time with Osquery.
Cool.
But we have upgraded thrift libraries. So like if you upgraded a thrift library in Python, you might actually want to regen the signatures to get whatever the current generated code looks like. I did that in the Go code base recently.
Yeah, I certainly remember, at least when we started Osquery Go, the thrift Go implementation was very immature, and we were contributing fixes to it, and it was changing often. I wonder if there are changes that have been made to the Python thrift that could be helpful to pull in.
There are definitely changes. It's hard. I don't know if they're helpful.
Could
But
there be like an incompatible Python versioning happening?
Seems unlikely because the extension works at first, and then it's just when Osquery does a restart that the re-registration doesn't work properly.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that just never got written, right? If like, you pointed out that the Osquery one has a health check in it, and does the Python one have a health check? Does the extension that you're looking at actually handle a failure there and try and re-register?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bad code out in the world, so or incomplete code.
There is a ping in Osquery Python, but yeah, I think it would be up to the extension to kind of call and take a decision, I guess.
Yeah, the Python code base is not one I know really. Feel like I only barely know the Go one.
And the Go one is, when we wrote the Go one, it was substantially based on what the Python one did, because that was the only reference really for how things should work. But again, I think it's just seen a lot more love since then, and perhaps resolved more issues because of that. I generally encourage people to use the Go one wherever possible, especially because being able to build static binaries for those extensions makes a big difference.
Yeah, deploying Python extensions is hard.
I see.
I like Python for like showing something in, you know, a GitHub issue sometimes of like, look, if you just run this, it doesn't work right. But
Yeah.
Other items people want to talk about? If not, we could end this early. People could go review PRs, you know, stuff like that.
I can just mention, I mean, it's there visible, but after we merged the BPF pub zlib fix update, there is a pull request that restores some of the release, just some of the release tests we were doing in the past. So specifically, it will check that there's no linked library, at least on macOS and Linux, that is linked outside of the standard system libraries. Also, that the list of libraries linked for Linux and Windows, though, is a specific one, basically, so that there is nothing more. And it is showing, in fact, now that it has detected that libc was in there incorrectly.
Oh, good job, past Osquery.
And oh well, no. So this code actually, I kind of rewrote it. Basically, it wasn't there.
Thank you, Stefano.
But yeah. Originally, we had also checked for AVX, but now AVX instruction. But now we use AVX instructions, so that went away. And there's also work in progress, which, I mean, together with those release tests, we would run all the query packs to check if they were still, I think, working correctly, etc. But I split that test in a separate Python script. It's a work in progress, and yeah, there is a start in that PR, but it's not run. It's not plugged in the CMake. But yeah, running it, I found out a couple of interesting things. Well, there is a table. Well, for instance, there's a query on a table that we don't have anymore, and another query that's throws an exception, but not in this query. Well, anyway.
I mean, those packs don't get a lot of attention, so
yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'll try and get stuff reviewed too. So maybe we can all try and get stuff forward a little bit. Other things? If not, we'll end a little early today. Going once? Going twice? Okay. Early day today. Have a good afternoon all, and enjoy your bonus 30 minutes. And thank you all for your work.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you, Linda.
Bye.
Thanks all. Bye.
See you.